you went from a normal girl in 1982 to really waking up and being suddenly a famous girl for the song Valley Girl.
I mean, a lot of families, like, if you're the A student, you get attention. If you're the fuck up, you get attention. There was no getting attention in my house. There was nothing. There was just the more
your dad was the center?
Exactly. From birth, I was already a purse.
Yes.
An accessory. I had a food addiction. I had a cutting addiction. I certainly still have a love addiction.
One of the lines I jotted down from the book was the freaking cliffhanger at the end. All is forgiven, come home. So what happened?
I stopped needing anything from them. I stopped needing anything from them because I could see them finally.
When I say Moon Unit Zappa, you think Valley Girl. I know that's what happened. It happens to all of us. That song made her voice and her language and her speech iconic while she was still a teenager. She was like overnight famous, and she couldn't even have known who she was at the time. So that's a weird way to grow up. But what's less understood about her even is how her family morphed and changed after her father died. It became something that people thought they would understand, but it was so complicated. And then in recent years, Moon has been publicly estranged from some of her siblings. She has 3, also with very colorful names. And it's an ongoing dispute over Frank Zappa's estate. And it's not just legal, it's not just emotional, it's historical. It's about the legacy, how this family's story is told, how the man himself is remembered, and everyone around him. So I don't want to litigate. I can't even say it. I don't want to litigate those details, but I do want to focus on the toll it's taken on Moon. And when she and I spoke earlier this month, that is exactly what we got into, what it's like to lose a parent, and in the fallout, losing siblings as well. So this is not a conversation about classic sobriety. It is about survival. It's about boundaries and inheritance of all kinds, not just financial, and what it takes to hold on to your own sense of self when your last name and your voice have always belonged to lots of people, not just you. I felt instantly comfortable with Moon, like I'd known her forever, and no, not because I had that song on a 45. That's right, I'm old enough to have had 45s. Ladies and gentlemen, Moon Unit Zappa. So here on Soberness, our tagline is freedom from. So I want to just start at the top. What is your foundational?
I mean, the list is pretty long. I was lucky enough to grow up in a house where there were no drugs and alcohol. So that was always like, I'm not spending any time with those people, which meant I didn't go to bars. I didn't go to parties. I was a nerd and stayed home and read books and whatever. But I had a food addiction. I had a cutting addiction. I certainly still have a love addiction. I'm just learning about money. So I watched your Susie, what's her name? Orman?
Susie Orman, yeah.
I loved what she said. Like the first sentence out of her mouth, like if you feel less than, you're going to spend more than. I was like, stop there. I'll just sit on that one for about a day and a half. But it's interesting because how do you define addiction? And is it different than obsession?
This is a great question. You know, it's a great question because the real drag about addiction is the obsession. Is I can't stop thinking about it, whether it's food or another person or a situation or, yes, addiction, it is obsession, I think.
Yeah, it's a little confusing to me because, for example, with the food stuff, I grew up in Los Angeles, and you had to, if you wanted to be in entertainment, you had to basically be an adult who could sit in a car seat. You had to be that underweight.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So
I think still, don't you?
Oh, of course. But my point is, was that an addiction or a habit that I trained myself to do that then became this thing that had a life of its own in my life? Do you know what I mean? Like I'm still sucking my stomach in when I'm driving alone. What? Do you know what I mean?
Girl, Me too. What the hell? We're
What
so
the
up with
hell?
that.
And so that's
I
just one
know.
example of, does that count as, anyway, so I'm really trying to just reel it all back. And the word that helps me identify this stuff the most is, where am I leaking? Where am I leaking? The word leaking is so helpful, because even if I curb one of them, I'm going to leak somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? And the reason is because I have done stints where I'm just like, I'm as good as you can get. I'm not doing the thing. I stopped doing that thing. I'm training myself out of that thing. And then I get this like ball of resentment and volcanic, like, where do I put that? And then it just doesn't have a place to go yet. I still find that I'll leak in like, overgive my time someplace, or overgive a resource, or overgive my great ideas, or, you know what I mean? I'll find another way to drain myself after I've turned myself into a person who doesn't have addictions. Do you know what I mean? And when the obsessive thought comes, I'll just redirect it to making art or being responsible. You know, it's like, I'm exhausted.
Exhausting, right? Yes, it's exhausting. I am right there with you. And listen, I don't think we're ever going to get there, right? Like, there's never going to be a moment where we don't leak.
But here's the thing. Here's what's so frustrating. It's not like everybody else is doing, like, we're doing no leaking, right? All of us are together. We're all doing no leaking. So I'll do no leaking. And everyone else is like, I'm a mess. And it's like,
but when I was asking about your foundational, doesn't have to be addiction related.
Okay.
Is your foundational thing from a famous family? Is your foundational?
Okay, some more fuckery. Okay, so I would also say, so family is the real F word to me, because I mean, I literally cannot watch award shows without wanting to flip the table and break the TV, because anytime somebody thanks a partner, a family, a manager, a thing, I'm like, what is that like to have just a nonstop support? Of course you're going to succeed. You know what I mean? And your amygdala's intact, and so you're going to be able to see the next lily pad to jump to with support. I mean, I couldn't be scrappier in every way. I don't want to be. That's just what's in my crappy goodie bag. And I say crappy because I am comparing to other people's that I'm very, very jealous of. However, jealousy shows me where I'd like to go. So I'm fine with jealousy. That kind.
Oh, that's so interesting. But also, girl, you know they're lying, right? They don't all have the perfect families and the perfect things either. They're just standing up there and just saying it. Not all of them. I'm sure some people have good families, but I don't know anyone, and I mean not freaking anyone, who says, you know, other people felt like they were on the outs. I always felt like I was on the ins. Or, you know, everyone always says they felt other than or separate from.
Have you
Nobody
never
says,
been to Connecticut?
That's like, it was like an Annie Hall. I'm from Connecticut. That's so funny. What's up, Sober Cobras? This is Kat Greenleaf reminding you that if you like what you're hearing, head on over to our website, soberness.com, because there is so much more. I'm going to posit a theory here, just because now that I've listened to your book, I feel like I'm an expert, right? So I think I'm obviously credentialed to share my thoughts here. And for our listening and viewing audience, the book is called Earth to Moon. And if you're a person who likes to read with your ears like me, I highly recommend, because Moon herself voices it, and it's a special experience. But okay, I don't believe in overnight successes generally. And in your case, I think it was sort of an overnight, right? You went from a normal girl in 1982 to really waking up and being suddenly a famous girl for the song Valley Girl. That's got to do a whole big number.
But
on
even
a person.
earlier, I was born, and the announcement was like, oh my God, there's a weird named girl in the world. Do you know what I mean? So I already, it's from birth, I was already a purse. You know what I mean? I was
yes.
an accessory.
An accessory. Yep. Right. Well, okay. So there you go. That's its very own form of, which, so I imagine you felt always like you had to perform and earn it and please. And also your mom was volatile, so you had to keep things even, and your dad was away. So again, I'm such an expert now after a
Mhm.
10-hour listen. But could that be it? Could that be why you feel like you have to wave and you have to make sure everyone feels ingratiated?
Oh, all of it. I mean, that was the best I could do. I mean, a lot of families, like, if you're the A student, you get attention. If you're the fuck up, you get attention. There was no getting attention in my house. There was nothing. There was just the
Because your
more you
dad was the center?
exactly. It was a pharaoh syndrome pyramid plan, and we didn't take turns getting to be the pharaoh. So, and
That doesn't happen. There's aren't turns, right? There's
well,
just one.
there are in healthy families that go, "How was your day? What are you thinking about? What would you like to do today? What would you like to be? How can I support it?" Someone, anyone, a grandma, an aunt, a neighbor, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So anyway,
So that's the vortex of fame kind of playing out in your
yeah,
family.
yeah. So, but yeah. So the fawning piece, I didn't even know fawning was a PTSD reaction. I didn't know until a couple of years ago that
Say more. I don't know.
fawning, fight, flight, what is it? Freeze and fawn. It's 4 things that you do under a super stressful circumstance. When you're dysregulated. Those are the 4 things that you do to protect yourself and stay
Fight,
alive.
flight, freeze, or fawn. And the fawning is so your abuser backs down kind
Well,
of thing?
that's the idea. You give them what they need. You curtsy and you do the thing and you're like, "Oh, let me help you," and you're polite and the thing, and then you just like run. It's like a look over there dash.
Interestingly, though, you never ran from your family. You stayed close to this. There's a phrase you use in your book that made me very sad. You called the love between your parents toxic love. And I thought about how
In
that
my
must have
opinion.
infected. Yeah, but you're the one that counts, right? You've got the mic. So if your parents had a toxic love, there's no way for the rest of the love in the house to not also um, be a bit tinged.
Mhm.
So what I'm wondering is, why did you stay? Why did you stay? Why didn't you run off to Europe and start a new life? Why didn't you do something like that?
So many reasons. But let's start with the premise that the toxic love is there throughout. Yes, however, um, in a family, every kid, I found out through writing this memoir, has a different parent, a different relationship to that parent, the parent has learned from the first one what to do and what not to do, and they keep learning, and the youngest one gets a totally different situation.
What does forgiveness mean?
Forgiveness. I'm not a fan of forgiveness, to be honest. I feel like it's dishonest. I talk myself into it a lot, and I've said, "I forgive you." And in some cases, it's really, I guess my best definition at this age, in this time in my life, is I'm setting the thing down so I don't keep torturing myself with it. But I always feel like people try to talk you into forgiveness, and certainly before you're actually ready. And if you never want to, don't.
But does forgiveness mean what? I don't. I'm
What does
not.
it mean?
What? Yeah, like I'm not thinking about it anymore. I don't blame you. I
I'm
see
not,
context.
it would be like carrying around a a bowling ball, and one day you say, "I'm not going to carry this thing around. It's somebody else's bowling ball, and I'd like to drop it off on their doorstep, and then I'd like to have them, but it's not a bowling ball, it's a bomb, and I'd like to have them dismantle it and then say, 'Sorry, I even built it in the first place.'"
So that's forgiveness.
Well,
The offloading.
the apology, yeah, the offloading would be the forgiveness. I mean, in some cases, people really don't have capacity. I don't know. I'm more of a fan of forgiving myself for interacting with people that are incapable of of being able to interact with integrity and honesty and
I mean,
impeccability.
self-forgiveness is the only one that really matters, right? At the end of the day.
Well, it's the only one that lets you move.
Right.
You can wriggle out
Right.
of it finally at long last. It gets you out of the quicksand, I think.
And out of that obsession, you know, it's interesting. We started this whole conversation talking about obsession and what's the difference in obsession and addiction. And I think I've thought about the word forgiveness a lot. You know,
Okay.
in AA, the ninth step is all about you making amends, which for me was like the only step that really, really counted. Like that was a big deal for me, was being able to say sorry and because again, guilt and shame central over here. But I'm now 12 years sober from alcohol. I've made those amends. People talk about forgiveness all the time. I want you to forgive me. I don't even know what it means. I want you to stop being mad at me. Is that what it means? Don't be mad at me anymore. Is that forgiveness?
When I've asked someone to forgive me, what I'm acknowledging is I messed up. I took advantage of goodness in you. I didn't know what I had when I had it. I'm acknowledging a misstep. I'm acknowledging a something I wish to repair. I'm asking somebody to really see me with compassion, I guess. Unfortunately I saw that movie Dead Man Walking and I really took it literally.
One of the lines I jotted down from the book was the freaking cliffhanger at the end. All is forgiven, come home. That's how you left it. Like, I was like, this girl is a genius. Now she's going to come out with a sequel. And because you didn't tell us what happened. So what happened?
What happened was I stopped needing anything from them. I stopped needing anything from them because I could see them finally. So for me, it's not it's more like that kind of forgiveness is just clear seeing. A tree is a tree, a bush is a bush. The actions that they did that harmed me, it only harms me if I want them to not harm me. If I recognize a tiger bites and scratches, maybe pick another place to go hang out. So it's like I gathered me in totality. And even if I leak from time to time, I will never abandon myself ever again. And so I ultimately don't need anything from anybody, but it is my preference to have connection.
Of course, these are your siblings. So for the people who haven't read the book yet, what I'm talking about is at the very end of this book, which to me sounded sort of like I don't know, like a boot camp of the heart. Like you really put yourself through it as you recalled all these memories. And I have to imagine a lot ended up on the cutting room floor too. So
Yeah.
I applaud you for undertaking this pursuit of really connecting with yourself and sharing it with people. So, but at the end of which, dear listeners and readers, Moon says to her siblings in a text, 5 words, all is forgiven, come home. And when you say all, I assume that's ugliness that went on maybe when your parents were alive and then after, or when you say all is forgiven, what does that mean?
Part of it is that reference earlier in the book where I'm talking about that's like a funny thing that my writing teacher would say to me when we hadn't spoken in a while, and she would laughingly say, "All's forgiven, come home." Like, where are you? And so there is a piece of it that's a humor piece. It's
Got it.
and it's
I missed
also
that.
like a, hey, can we all be awake now? Hey, can we meet in that place of we don't have to. Really, what I'm saying is, can we just have a dance party? Can we dance it off instead?
Right. Doesn't have to be so heavy. And so how did it go? Have you had that dance party?
It's a process. It is a process. So
Families are so challenging.
they really are.
You know, and I think money can make it so much worse, right? It's funny. We all want money because it makes it like easier. And yet in families, it can make it much harder.
Because in this particular case, it I made it define my value. I just thought death, the final word at death, when my mother died, when she didn't wish me well forever, and she also didn't wish me well in my lifetime, uh, um, that 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 took some work to get over, that the final word can be their final word, but doesn't have to be my final word about myself. I internalized her final word. And I, again, being raised in watching film and television and reading books, I thought when somebody is close to death, they're like, I just want to say, I'm sorry for all that. I wish we were closer, but let's have this one moment. No, it didn't happen. And so that, um, the part that was the struggle for me when I really kept sitting with it and going deeper and deeper and deeper with it was that I had made her final word true and that I was unlovable forever.
Mama, come on now. Come on now. That's too much.
I know,
That's
but
too
that's
much for
where
any human to
that's
bear.
that's where I went. That's where I went with it for a few years.
Hello, all you beautiful viewers and listeners. If you yourself have a great sober story or you want to celebrate your own freedom from head over to our website, Soberness.com, and tell us your tale in 300 words or less. Then I call you, we set up a time, and then we do a 10-minute interview, which will live on our website, maybe our socials, and then you'll get really, really famous, so it'll all have been worth it. That's www.soberness.com. Did writing the book help you get to yourself?
Yes. Yes.
It was so brave. Your book is so, and I am not just blowing sunshine here. I really, I felt you throughout the book. You were, the way you described things was so clear that I could tell that this wasn't AI writing it. You know, you were
Yeah.
really in it.
One of the things I was most excited about was that I was like, oh, people, they're not going to just read this book. They're going to try on how I think and how I love. And that's the part that made me so excited because I think I am a very generous thinker and lover of humans and the world. And like, I can't stop. Like, I just.
And you're an artist, which is, to me, an artist is a giver.
Yes.
I'm sure art also takes, but an artist who wants to be alive and share with the world. And that is clearly who you are, which is why it still blows my mind that you don't think that you're an artist.
Getting there. Because a lot of times I don't like what comes out. But it's okay. I'm learning to that's my learning curve at the moment.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Tell me about this tea company. What's this tea company? What else you got going on?
It's called Moon Unit Tea, and I'm very excited about it. It's been going on for a couple of years now, but I really didn't have the time and energy to put into it because I was writing the memoir and then touring for the book. And now it's a female-owned tea company. Me and my tea partner, Dana Blair. It's out of Taos, New Mexico. She is the master blender. I'll send her teas or tell her I want these elements, these tastes, and then we go back and forth tasting things and until it really tastes like I want it to taste. And now we're doing I have 7 teas in total, 2 single origin teas, 1 decaffeinated yummy thing, and
I don't know what single origin means.
oh, it means that's not blended at all. It's just the pure, so a Darjeeling, a first flush Darjeeling, just the leaves picked and dried and put through the process, and you're just going to taste the mountain, the air, the hands that touch the plants. And so I have an Assam, which I call totally Assam. And it's for $19.82, which is the year Valley Girl happened. And yeah. And so if you go to my website, moonunit.com, you can click on the tea link and it'll take you to the site, and you can I just launched a couple new things. One is a flight of the teas, so you get a sample size of all the teas. And so I wrote, if you're bi-curious, B-U-Y curious, you could taste all the teas. And then I launched a love bug box, which is they're my two girliest teas. So and
Okay.
included in the tea is one that's when I did my book, I made an Earth to Moon unit tea as well. So you can smell a book
Oh, cute.
and you can
Yeah.
drink the book. You can taste a book. And that's how it's how my book tastes to me.
Wow. I'm going to order it. I'm going to order it because I need to know how a book tastes. That's so fascinating. And is there going to be a sequel? But I don't want to be like one of those local news anchors, like, and tell me what's coming up next. I'm just interested in which way your life is going.
Yeah, I'm just experimenting right now. I'm kind of curious about fiction at the moment, so I'm messing around with that. I know that I can do well writing essays. The thing about the memoir is I finally could put the past behind me.
Yeah.
That's new.
Yeah.
And just be in the present time. So I feel like fiction is what I'm really thinking about, which is way scarier to me than nonfiction, because nonfiction, the beginning, middle, and end, more or less.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
but in fiction, you're like, where are we going? And I have to say, where are we going? To my own creativity. So it's a lot of self-trust. So I'm interested in rebuilding credibility with myself for all the prior terrible mistakes and the places where my intuition took me someplace I did not want to go and I did not like the results. And so it's little by little, and I'm just trying to take slower steps.
Once again, you didn't ask my reflection, but here it comes. I keep hearing you talking about the mistakes you've made. Girl, it's just living, right? Let yourself off the hook. They're not mistakes, right? You try things. Listen, I once knew a game show host who was very prescient, even though very, well, that part doesn't matter. Point is, he would say of somebody, well, at least they're out there, like, you may not be succeeding every time, but at least you're out there. At least you're trying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really believe in mistakes. I believe you try stuff and it either takes off from one direction or it doesn't. Does it mean a mistake? I mean, for me, being an alcoholic, was that a mistake? I mean, all those drunks, it wasn't great, but it was what was happening.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it any differently.
Yeah, I think you hit on something really vital, which is the fucking part. I think if I was fucking, I probably would be a little more cheerful.
Oh, well, let's get you out there. What the hell? You're hot. What do you mean you're hot? You got name recognition. Who doesn't want to that?
I would like to meet a really awesome human.
Let's put it out into the world right now. Tall, short, white, black. What do we got?
Can you imagine? Short, lazy. No.
Yeah.
Of course. Tall, wonderful, funny, whatever. It's humor that's most interesting to me. Humor, honesty, integrity. I don't even. I'm not gonna dare to make the list. I want to say. Do you know what I mean to the universe? You know what I need. Do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean.
Can you send it?
I believe the universe can send it. To me, I just feel like you're like right there. You're right there. It's all within your grasp. You're clear about what you want. You're active in your life. Like, it's right there. And I just feel that for you. I don't know why you wouldn't have what you want. Why shouldn't? Why not you? Why not you?
Thank you.
Why
Appreciate
not
that.
you with the partner you want and the business you want? Listen, I don't know if you have another part 2 of your memoir in you, but even just listening to you talk today, I can hear you've come far from even when you finished the book, probably 2 or 3 years ago at this point, right? You stopped writing it. If you could give me your one most significant change that you can say happened due to that process of writing the book, what are you enjoying now?
Well, this is what I'll say. When people came to the readings, they had righteous anger and outrage on my behalf. And I didn't know actually how bad it was, even in writing the book, until I got that reflection back, because when you're a survivor, you're just trying to get through stuff. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Wow. I thought I could finish this interview without saying it. No. I'm
Well, let
God.
me tell you, I know what you mean.
I'm God's clown today, says the atheist.
Yeah.
But that reflection helped me really get the chance to really grieve and shake it off like an impala, and just be in that state. I thought I would be done with grieving. The surprise is, grief, it takes a while. It takes a minute to really, really, really
Yep.
mend.
A lifetime.
I'm still messy right now. That's okay.
You and me both, sister. Well, listen, it just is, right? It
So
just is.
are you in New York?
I'm in Coney Island. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna meet you in the city, and I'm gonna take you to lunch. That's all I'm gonna say about this.
I cannot wait. I'm counting the days. Thank you so much for spending time with us here on the show.
Next time I get to interview you.
Sold. Namaste, sister. Hey, real quick, if our episodes, The Sober Life or Freedom from connects with you, share it with anyone that you think would also benefit. As a self-funded podcast, it would mean the world for you to rate and subscribe or follow our podcast whenever you can. This helps our team find new amazing guests and continue improving our episodes for you. Thank you so much.